name is Chow. I'm the Director for Creative and Content Marketing for Marriott International Asia Pacific. So my role involved actually looking after the creative messaging and also the content marketing of our group of hotel in terms of our Marriott brand. And one of the things is basically storytelling and how people actually can utilize storytelling more to engage with the consumer. I'm not from the hospitality, sort of classically the hospitality business, but basically from television and media for 2 decades, so essentially entertainment. But I think there's a lot of common thread between hospitality and also television and media. In a way, it's actually the audience that you're speaking to. So in the same way, connecting and engaging with the consumer, like the way we have to our guests at the hotel, and the way we want to create stories that resonate with our audience on the TV screen kind of work the same. So that's how content marketing kind of bridge in. And I think one of the things why Marriott and why from TV industry into Marriott and content marketing, as you kind of pointed out, is I think more and more brands realize that they need to be their own publisher rather than basically doing the traditional way of marketing. And because it's kind of like the internet age, the technology have kind of like make it harder for us to connect with the consumer because it's two-way now. So there's an immediate real-time reaction from the consumer rather than top-down that used to be. So that's why media and storytelling becomes so more important than it was before. That's why content marketing came into place. So brands are looking for people with the experience of storytelling from that background to actually help to become a publisher, to become a creator of your own sort of story base to engage with the consumer. That's how the transition came about. I think everyone loves traveling, right? Because the sayings that traveling starts with a dream and ends at the destination. I guess at the end of the day, I think one of the things that I learned is that a lot of the situation is not about the final destination, it's about the experience along the journey that you can experience, right? That makes it so interesting. For me, I travel a lot, not just work, but personally, I enjoy traveling and I enjoy actually staying in hotels. So I'm really those kind of typical consumer that what our brands are after as guests. And the recent experience I have that most vivid to me was my trip to New York actually, which was really interesting. Because in the States and sometimes with the weather and all that, you get all this delay and problems when you're traveling, right? So it's always a pain. So I remember I was actually taking at JFK, planning to take a flight off to Washington from JFK, but the flight was completely delayed. It was storms or weather condition and things like that. So I literally was trapped for 6 hours. So I was supposed to be in Washington in 2 hours, but it just ended up for the whole more than half a day. I was stuck in the airport, and it's just impossible to get out because the flights is all not moving, and they say that I'm sorry, it's all cancelled, right? So I have to go back to the hotel that I stay in New York, back to the city. So instead of staying at the airport hotel, because the flight that I could get on next is the following day, but in the late evening. So there's no point for me to stay around the hotel. The airport. So I actually went back to the hotel that I was staying, and of course I had to check in again, and the front desk was shocked. Say, "Oh, sir, why are you back again?" I said, "Well," then I explained, and I said it was so a disaster and a nightmare having to wait for so many hours. But the instant moment when he listened to me and understand and empathize with what I have gone through to me, and he say, "Sir, I understand the stress and everything," and he quickly dished out a voucher and said, "Dinner on us, and please go and enjoy a bottle of wine and relax, and just on the house." Can you imagine that moment when, after sharing your story about what you have gone through, and then the next thing where there's an immediate connection to understand, instead of saying, "Oh great, that this is your room, get on with it," But there was this offering of you deserve something better. I understand what you have gone through. And it really sweetened my whole day. It just made all the sort of frustration that I had beforehand all gone, right? And then you just go down, sit down at the restaurant, have a great glass of wine, and then have your meal. And you felt good about it. So I think that experience taught me a lot about, not just service, but empathy, but about connection through listening, and it's just instantly the person connect with you at that point, rather than just, I'm doing my job. So I think that was really one of the most vivid experience I had that I remember most. I still remember it. I think the expectation of consumer today have changed a lot. I mean, it's a lot of things have been sort of like, like I expected. So the demand, the sort of like what they really want and expect you to have is kind of like gone beyond. For example, physical location, comfort and all that. So those things are really more or less something that they expect you to have. So it's getting harder and harder because of that, right? So in a way to actually connect with them, you have to go beyond, so to speak. And what does it mean going beyond? I think beyond means really about building a relationship. And to me, the best way that, for us as a brand and Marriott as well as hospitality is that I always say it's easy to train you to be good at your job, but the reality is that I can't change your personality. So a lot of our general managers are beginning to realize that they go beyond qualification and beyond experiences to first and foremost, depending of course on the nature of the job. If you're going to be dealing with guests and dealing with a front desk and jobs like that, as your career grows, the first thing that I think I would look out for is whether you already have that personality. That cannot be sort of like fate. That needs to come naturally, and that naturalness of your personality, if you're really great with people, is one plus point. First and foremost, that cross a lot of hurdle. Then the training becomes easier. It must come naturally, because when I stay at a hotel, I look a lot. I mean, I observe a lot, and the first thing I kind of like, I like to talk to the associates, or we call them the associates, and you can feel whether they're really being sincere or whether they're actually just doing their job. When that sincerity comes on, I think you can feel that sort of like naturalness of them, and that's where you build the relationship. I think that's what I will always want to look out if you really want to do to get into the hospitality industry. I think you must be, number one, be willing to actually be treating guests like your family members, a friend. And are you willing to do that? It's not just another guest coming through to your hotel, but really this and everyone that gets through here to your hotel is like coming to your home. And if they're coming to your home, what would you provide them? That hospitality, which is the warm sincerity and trust that they want to get from you, the empathy. So I think with those, I think that they are the key ingredients to us to keep getting back customer for them. For example, recently I heard a story from a guest. She was staying in one of our hotels in Bangkok, and she, on one turn-down service, she discovered a chocolate that was placed on her bedroom, and she picked up and had that little snack. And she loved the chocolate so much, but she was instantly like, I want to buy that chocolate. So she called them and said, hey, I love the chocolate, where can I get them? So the lady over the phone said that it's made down at our little shop below. And then she said, okay, I want to pack some to go back. And she went down and she asked for those chocolate, but they said, we have a great selection, but the one that you like most, unfortunately, we don't sell it because it's specially made for the guests. So we don't sell it, but we have other choices. Would you like to try them? But she said she just really liked that one. So obviously, she was a little bit disappointed that it's not for sale. Then she went away, she said, it's fine, and then she was off and have her meals. And next thing she realized, someone from the hotel was scouting around for her and then passed her 2 bags of that chocolate. So they, I don't know how they found her, but they managed to locate her and pass her that 2 boxes of chocolates, to knowing that she likes that chocolate so much. I mean, imagine that kind of power where you go to the extent of doing not just so much service, but that action itself has a very, very far-reaching consequences. It's a story that she will keep telling everyone. Whether she posts it on social media for the experience, or whether she will tell more friends, and by word of mouth, that's powerful, right? So my hope actually sometimes is that, as I always say, if everyone can do something that allowed a guest to have a story to take away, to share, every one of them, and each of them have that story to share with everybody, I think there's some power that could actually be really powerful. I mean, I'm a typical example of actually seeing my work as my life, because I'm passionate about what I'm doing, and that becomes really not a job, but really every day what I'm doing, looking at stories, a part of everyday interacting with people. It's actually part of my passion. So in that sense, that kind of like line is blurred. But at the same time, there's still work as in responsibility. There's still the kind of like bosses to report to. So that's really corporate job. And then there's also where, like you say, work-life balance. So to put that in perspective, I think a lot of busy executive and profession today are facing that big problem. So I think wellness really comes from discipline as well. So which is why I think the great thing about some of our hotel and today hotel realize that in fact the wellness tourism or the wellness business itself is going to be huge. By forecast, I think in 2020 there's an estimate that the wellness business itself will grow to a level of about 800 billions in the year of 2020. So for that itself, I think there's huge opportunity for a lot of brands, for a lot of hospitality, and even for spa and F&B to tap into that opportunity, because everyone wants to, at the end of the day, with a busy lifestyle, be able to actually have a healthy work-life balance too. So how to achieve that? I mean, besides the fact that every hotel has gyms and all that, I think these days people are trying to be even more beyond expectation. For example, I think Four Seasons, they actually tie up with Nike. So part of our hotel as well, we also own Westin as well, have a wellness kind of focus as well, eat healthy, eat well, sleep well and all that. And then on the other hand, other hotels are really partnering with even like I just mentioned, Four Seasons and Nike. They actually have Nike coaches to actually understand your actual running habits and exercise regime and coach you in the morning. So bring that level of experience beyond just basically, okay, like what we are doing right now actually is similar, but not even to the extent. We have running routes and we say, hey, in the morning, if you want to have a scenic view of Tokyo, check in at 7 a.m. down here at the lobby, our sort of concept, one of the fitness trainer will bring you for a run. But that is not as powerful as, like, for example, having a partnership with Nike and then do a little bit more to elevate the experience of like understanding their individual personalized exercise regime and then tailor-make something for them to bring the experience even further. I think that itself is how I would see, gradually a lot of the, whether in travel, F&B, hospitality will do to elevate the experiences with the wellness in mind. And the other thing is food transparency. I think a lot of our restaurant today, I think we're trying to basically be more transparent the way we cook our food. Instead of hiding behind kitchen, you see a lot of that food actually served in front of the guests. That means prepared in front of the guests, where you can actually walk around the open kitchen and see how the chef and how the kitchen helps out with actually preparing the food. I think that kind of things is also going beyond just probably in telling people that it's locally sourced, it's from the farm. I mean, those are great information, but nothing beats on the food transparency and safety, right? Because I think a lot of people today are concerned about what they're eating as well. So that wellness components again is coming. So I think for me, personally, I'll look for those things as well as a traveler, as a busy executive, as a busy, a traveler. So I think I see more of that kind of what everyone else, I think, now in the busy lifestyle would look forward to.